From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Victor Beattie reporting. Belgian police have released a photo of another suspect in Tuesday's triple terror bombings at the Brussels airport and subway station that killed at least 34 and wounded more than 200 others.
Le troisième suspect, vêtu d'une veste claire et portant un chapeau,
Belgian Federal Prosecutor Frédéric Van Leeuw said the suspect is seen wearing a light jacket and hat. The photo taken from a closed-circuit television that showed a man alongside two others who are believed to have been brothers and suicide bombers. Police also said they found a bomb, chemicals, and an Islamic State flag in a raid on a house in a Brussels neighborhood. The IS group has claimed responsibility for Tuesday's carnage. President Obama in Argentina Wednesday joined his Argentine counterpart in standing in solidarity with Belgium.
We understand the pain they feel viscerally because our countries as well have known the scourge of terrorism.
Secretary of State John Kerry will officially offer U.S. condolences in a visit to Brussels Friday. The U.S. has issued a travel warning to Americans throughout Europe, warning them to use caution at sporting events, tourist sites, restaurants, and on transportation, and advised them to take special care at large festivals and on religious holidays. Media reports indicate that the long-anticipated Iraqi offensive to retake the northern Iraqi city of Mosul from the Islamic State is underway. An Iraqi military spokesman said Thursday that several villages on the outskirts have been captured already with the help of U.S. air support. Iraq's second-largest city fell to the IS fighters in June of 2014. The International Criminal Court Wednesday ordered a senior member of the Lord's Resistance Army to stand trial for crimes committed in Uganda. Dominic Ongwen faces 70 charges, including murder, rape, torture, and recruitment of child soldiers. This is VOA News. UN Special Envoy Ismail ul Sheikh Ahmed said Wednesday the parties to the conflict in Yemen have agreed to a cessation of hostilities and a new round of peace talks.
I am pleased to announce today that parties to the conflict have agreed to a nationwide cessation of hostilities beginning at midnight on the 10th of April. In advance of the upcoming round of the peace talks, which will take place on the 18th of April in Kuwait.
He said the talks would be based on UN Security Council resolutions which call for resolving the year-old conflict through political negotiation. More than 6,000 have died since a Saudi-led coalition air campaign began a year ago in support of President Rabu Mansour Hadi, who fled to Riyadh after Iranian-backed Shia Houthi rebels seized the capital Sana'a in 2014. President Obama visits a memorial Thursday to those murdered by a military junta in Argentina's so-called dirty war of the 1970s. Wednesday, during a start of a two-day state visit, Mr. Obama met Argentina's new leader, Mauricio Macri. They held a joint news conference following talks. Mr. Macri, speaking through an interpreter, spoke of his hopes for the relationship.
But allow me to say once again that this visit, Mr. President, has a special meaning for us. We see it as a gesture of affection, friendship, at a time when Argentina is embarking on towards a new horizon and is in the process of changing.
President Macri, who took office in December after a decade of leftist rule, signaled he wants stronger economic ties with Washington and other free market economies. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is holding talks in Moscow with President Vladimir Putin and Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on Syria and Ukraine. A U.S. official traveling with the secretary says he wants to hear how they view the current status of efforts towards a political transition away from the leadership of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. UN envoy to Libya Martin Kobler says he's been denied permission to travel to Tripoli for a mission to pave the way for installation of a new UN-backed unity government to move there from Tunis. Tripoli said it denied permission after failing to receive an agenda. Nigeria's parliament Wednesday approved President Muhammadu Buhari's record 2016 budget of $30 billion aimed at boosting growth amid weak oil prices, a chief source of revenue. A South African man found what may be another piece of the missing Malaysian Airlines flight 370. Niels Kruger, an archaeologist, said he recognized the honeycomb structure of the debris. Other fragments have been found on Reunion Island in Mozambique. Investigators have indicated they're highly likely to have been part of the Boeing 777 that disappeared without a trace March 8, 2014. I'm Victor Beattie, VOA News.
That's the latest world news from VOA.